Hi, friend. I'm Justy. I'm a cult survivor and post-cult thriver. I decided to make a video today with my hair still damp from having washed and colored it, which is not usual. I did put lipstick on, but I want to just keep it real. And today I do want to talk again about our life purpose, your life purpose, my life purpose. And do you feel a longing for something more or something else, something hidden, some possibility that you didn't think was possible? And what might that be? Was there something that you used to long for years ago that you left alone because it wasn't realistic or practical? For me, I wanted to be on stage. I wanted it in high school, but I wasn't allowed to be in the play, which was going to be like a really kick-ass musical production because my mom wanted me to not have a conflict of interest with my religious meetings. And I think she was also afraid that I would get swept away and carried away by the glamour of it all. And my talent and all that. So, and she was right, for a mom who wants to keep her daughter a good woman in the cult, like that was the right decision. And I was obedient to that. I was told that I could do props or scenery, but I didn't want that. I wanted to sing, dance, and act. So I was an audience member. Okay, I don't want to act now, but I do want to be on a stage speaking to many, many people, especially women. I still have that longing to put myself out there big. And I'm coming back to it. There's something else I wanted to talk about too, is that as in the last few weeks, as I've been really just writing about this, meditating about this, speaking about this, listening about this, that I keep coming back to this deep longing to help. Not help is not a good word, but to reach and penetrate women and girls who are still in high control religions and cults and who may not see the possibility for another life for yourselves. If you know someone who's in this situation and you feel that it's safe and okay to do so, please share my video or any of my videos with them. People have said, women in cults who are still in cults need to see you and hear you. And I believe that's true. And I know that they're not likely to be looking for me on YouTube, Instagram, or anywhere else. But I'm going to speak to you, a woman who is still in a high control religion or cult. And you may not even think of it as a cult, because I did not. I thought of it as my religion, which was the only true religion, until I started to question if it was true. But then I still didn't think of it as a cult. So that is a questionable word. But in some kind of a group or teaching or religion that you feel you do not have any choice but to be in and to follow and to be loyal to and to raise children in, very possibly, be married in, I just want you to know there is a choice and there is another possibility. You may not see the way or the how, but I just want you to know that there is. And I found out that there was for me. I started to have doubts about it, about the truth of it, 10 years, literally 9.5 years before the day I actually left it. So in those years, I was wondering, is this really true, or did somebody make this up in England in 1929? I mean, what's really going on here? Am I really in the only true religion that's the source of all wisdom, or am I in some made-up construction created by 3 English people in London that they then converted a bunch of other people to? So I just kept wondering, but eventually I decided that even though I didn't know for sure, that it was no longer working for me, and that was because of the abuse of my children. But I also had this question that, I don't think this thing is even I don't think this is even a thing. Like, I think that life is just life. It was a possibility that I wouldn't have considered 10 years before at all in any way. And on top of that, I separated from my husband 2 weeks before I walked out of the religion. I knew I wanted to do both. He was very committed to it and very committed to following the quote counsel of the man in charge, which I found to be abusive and very bad, truthfully. He was very committed to that, and we had really grown apart. So I knew that I wanted to separate from him, and I knew that I wanted to separate from the religion, but I thought that I had to wait. I thought I had to do one and then wait a few months and do the other, but I actually ended up doing it 2 weeks of each other, because once the dominoes started to fall, I just couldn't stand it anymore. I couldn't stand being in a quote light meeting with the person that I had separated from, and he was the chairperson of the meeting on top of it. I mean, I just couldn't do it. I couldn't go to the lectures and listen to things that I couldn't buy. I might have considered going to the lectures, but certainly not the smaller groups where we practiced everything. They were called practice sessions. I'm sharing a little bit more about my cult with you. This is where it was my home for decades and decades, from when I was born until I left 22 years ago. So what I'm saying is, what I actually ended up doing was outside of the realm of my possibility for most of my life. And not only did I leave, but both of my children left. And actually, my older son left first before me, 2 years earlier than I did. This was something that I was very frightened of, that possibly my children might not be in the light. But what it turned out to be was the greatest gift. And I still tell him to this day that he's a genius because he left. And he broke the ice, he broke the ice for us. And my daughter left with me. The minute I left, she was out the door with me. So this was all stuff that I wouldn't have imagined. Me carrying furniture up the stairs of my own little apartment. Like, that's just no. And now, so where am I now? I no longer live in a suburb of New York City, and New York City was and still is the headquarters of that religion, so that people had to pretty much stay there. I no longer live there, even though I have a very fond place in my heart for New York City. I live in San Francisco, and I thought it was going to be more of a queer and edgy place than it actually really is, but that was more how it was in the 90s before I found it. But I'm here, and I've made friends here. Now my hair is fuchsia, it's not brown anymore. I mean, that's just like a little symbol. One thing that is similar is that I have a job again in the fitness industry, which is, I used to work in that industry when I was in the light. But I was not in it for a long time. So I'm kind of circling back around it. Still not sure that that's really where I belong, but I can do service there, and I can support myself there. And there are many other things about me that are really different from that time. And yet I'm still me. I'm still me. So that's a little bit more of my story, and I just want you to know that there is always a possibility for a different choice, for a different life. The things, something that you might have thought was not possible, just considering that might be a fixed mindset, and a fixed mindset doesn't see everything. A fixed mindset doesn't see everything, because life is not fixed. That's my story today. I'd love your comments. Please like, subscribe, share this with someone who needs to hear it. Love you. Bye.